what do you know? It really does exist. Let's stay there forever. The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, directed by Andrew Adamson, and is the 2005 movie adaptation of C.S. Lewis's classic book, as well as being the first installment of the Narnia Trilogy. So I'm sure everybody knows the story of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe like the back of their hand. And this movie tells the story of the four Pemsey kids, two sisters and two brothers, Peter, Susan, Edmund and Lucy, and during World War II they are evacuated by their mother and sent to temporarily stay with Professor Diggory and the housekeeper Mrs. Macready, though sadly the four siblings don't have the closest relationship, but until Lucy, she is the first to discover the wardrobe, which is the gateway between our world and the magical land of Narnia, which has been transformed into a permanent winter by the White Witch Jadis. And so, with the help of the Fawn, Mr. Tumnus, Mrs. and Mr. Beaver, and of course the Great Lion himself and creator of Narnia, Aslan, the four Pemseys need to defeat the White Witch and restore peace to Narnia in the final battle for Narnia, and while on this journey they become closer as a family. To say The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is a masterpiece, and I absolutely love this movie, doesn't exactly cover it. I am about to totally shower this movie with love and praise. This is a EPICTASTIC magical masterpiece, and it is no question the greatest of the Narnia trilogy, would it be one of my favourite movies of all time and one of my top 5 favourites of 2005? Oh, hell yeah! I mean, this movie was released when I was 10. At the time, in 2005 was the year I made up my mind and I wanted to become a movie director, and this was one of those movies that inspired me to do so. It's one of the most significant movies in my entire life, and I was so passionate about this movie at the time. I even has the Narnia action figures and the Narnia activity book. So let's begin with all of my positives. The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is no denying the best of the 7 Narnia books which C.S. Lewis wrote. I mean, it was one of the first ever books that I read back in my very earliest days of school. It was one of the first classic children's stories I was ever shown in my entire life, and I even saw the BBC film adaptation of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, but I've never seen an adaptation of this story this epic or this satisfying. This is my favourite version of the story by far, and to me it is superior to the book. It's completely heartfelt. Andrew Adamson was an expert, so he is on directing family movies. He, of course, directed the first 2 Shreks, but The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is my favourite movie from him. He nailed the tone. He didn't just make a movie here, he made pure magic, and the 4 Pemsey kids are so flawlessly cast, from Georgie Heleny as Lucy, Anna Popwell as Susan, William Moseley as Peter, and Skander Keynes as Edmund. Especially Georgie Heleny as Lucy, who's who's my favorite parts of this entire film. She is the definition of a softie, and she gives the most astonishing performance I've ever seen from a child actor, and she's the most. I've never seen a child actor so committed to their role. I listened to the director's commentary, and she commented how Andrew cut out one of her shouting scenes because she only has one shouting scene in this movie, and she liked shouting. So she's the most mature 9-year-old girl you will ever meet, and she was born to act in movies, and she deserved an Academy Award nomination for this performance. And Lucy is also the name of my sister, so it was literally like watching my sister in a blockbuster hit. So Peter is the eldest, so he feels the weight of responsibility of protecting his family on his shoulders while they are away from their mother. So he's constantly doubting himself, but by the final battle, he proves to be the most badass king Narnia could and leader Narnia could ever ask for. And Susan, she's the most underrated member of the Pemsey children because she is certainly the smartest. So her brains do come in handy, and she needs to learn not to be such a bossy boots and to have more fun with her siblings. And Anna Popplewell, my goodness, so she is beyond gorgeous. Yes, Susan is my Narnia crush, I'm going to admit it. And Edmund, he may be the most interesting of the Pemsey kids, as he's the first to meet the White Witch, and he unintentionally betrays his siblings to the Witch, but he had no idea that she was planning to murder them, so that wasn't technically his fault, but he needs to realise by the end of this movie to not take his family for granted, and when he does return to them in Aslan's camp, it's so sweet seeing Lucy and Susan hug him, and because they realise it wasn't his fault. And the White Witch herself, played incredibly by Tilda Swinton, she would be the best antagonist of the Narnia series, and easily. Her heart is as cold as ice. Although I don't get why the Narnians would be upset that she just made its winter constantly, because the winter Narnia looks gorgeous, but I can see why at the same time they would be pissed that she removed Christmas altogether, because a life without Christmas, that sucks. But she is one of my favourite manipulative villains, and James McAvoy as Mr. Tumnus. So this was his first major role in a blockbuster before he was Charles Xavier, and he's so charming, and his scenes with Lucy are some of the sweetest in the movie, and he's the first Narnian with the balls to disobey the White Witch's orders to help Lucy escape. And this movie got the talking animals spot on. They are so cuddly and awesome, especially Mrs. and Mr. Beaver, voiced by Dawn French and Ray Winston. They are ever so hospitable. Certainly one of the most impressive CGI characters ever put to film would be Aslan himself, voiced by the one and only Liam Neeson. Aslan as a CGI lion looks infinity times better and more real than any of the lions in the shitty Lion King remake, because Liam Neeson was putting 110% into his vocal performance, and also because they remembered to animate his facial expressions. And of course, Aslan is the lion version of Jesus, especially in the harrowing moment when he willingly gives his life to save Edmund on the stone table. Yeah, that stone table scene will be hard for any kid to watch. Seeing this poor lion just get tortured to death. But don't worry, kids, Aslan comes back. That was only temporary. Yeah, C.S. Lewis, he did include some Christian symbolism in his Narnia franchise, with the sons of Adam and daughters of Eve, and Aslan being similar to Christ. But that was never controversial to me. It's did them in a harmless way, and this is visually what the most detailed fantasy movie I've ever seen. Weta, the exact same team behind the Lord of the Rings trilogy, worked on this movie, and it was also shot in New Zealand. So New Zealand is now Middle-earth and Narnia. We have a combination of some beautiful looking winter scenes in the first half, and some stunning sunny scenes in the second half, and so every single kid will want to go for a wardrobe and visit Narnia and stay there forever, because Narnia is that beautiful in this movie, and this movie has some of the most astonishing combination of CGI and practical effects, especially how it's brought the CGI animals and the fawns and the centaurs and the and even the witches' army to life, and it's well and truly deserved that Academy Award for Best Makeup. Yeah, you can see that Weta worked their freaking butts off with this movie. This movie also does plenty of things better than the source material, like the air raid opening. That's a far more thrilling opening than the book. Also in the book, the White Witch turns this group of partying animals to stone after she finds out Father Christmas has returned to Narnia, but in the movie it's this fox voiced by Rupert Everett, who helps the Pemsies to Aslan's camp, and when she turns that fox to stone, even after Edmund insists she spare him, that was more heart-wrenching. So again, the movie did it better. And Harry Gregson-Williams' score is freaking wonderful. One of the most underrated scores in cinema history. Whenever I hear this soundtrack, I know for a fact I'm in Narnia. Dun, 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 dun. And I even adore the epic end credits song, Can't Take It In. Yeah, my favourite of the 3 end credit songs for the trilogy. But the best scene in this entire movie would be the final battle, or the Battle of Bernua, if you're a Narnian expert. This final battle is beyond epic. It's better than all of the battles in Prince Caspian combined. In the book, we barely saw the battle. It was more focused on Lucy and Susan and Aslan rescuing the other Narnians who had been turned to stone in the witch's castle. But in a movie, you can show more of the battle visually, and it's a heart-pounding climax. You feel literally, how the heck are they going to defeat the White Witch without Aslan? And this battle is filled with moments that make you yell, "Holy holy shit, that happened, with the griffins dropping rocks on the witch's troops. General Ottman would be my favourite of the witch's followers. He's this formidable minotaur who can make a cow's moo intimidating, and the fights with General Urius, the centaur general of Peter's army, and General Ottman, that's done in slow motion. And Edmund getting stabbed by the witch, and then Peter's fight with the witch will just have you freaking gasping, and then Aslan returns with Lucy and Susan with the rescued Narnians from the witch's castle, and then he does his epic Lion King like roar and saves the day. And even Susan gets her badass moment when she saves Edmund's life by shooting down Ginnabrick, one of the witch's dwarfs. Sure, you could nitpick that this movie does include the cliched prophecy storyline, but the book was written in a more simplistic time, and they barely focus on the prophecy side. They show you how talented and how capable these kids are instead of telling you, and also their relationship as a family is the heart and soul of the movie. I don't have a single complaint about The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. It's 14 years later, it still remains one of my all-time favourite childhood movies and my favourite Narnia movie. And it more than does C.S. Lewis's classic story justice. If he saw it, he would have been entirely satisfied with it. I give the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe 5 stars out of 5. Best movie ever. So yeah, I doubt any future Narnia sequel will ever top Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, but it is so perfect. Well, I love you guys, thank you for watching, hope you guys enjoyed this review. What do you think of Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you all next time when I review its sequel, Prince Caspian. And remember, movies are us. Bye guys.